Okay. So in last class, we saw the data structures like fundamental data structures and derived data structure, right? Like what is list, what is tuple, what is dictionary, and we did some couple of exercises on that. So pretty much we have covered all the data structure, data types, apart from some operations. Okay. So now let's talk about the loop in Python. Okay. So what is loop and why we require loop concept in Python? And not only Python, every language has this concept of iteration, loop. Okay. What is loop? Any idea about loop? What do you think about loop?
It's
Iteration.
continuously going, keep on repeating. Like that.
Yeah. Let me give one example. Just give me some context. Okay. Let's suppose you have some list. A is equal to is my list. Okay. I have some data inside the list. Okay. Now, in this data, it's a list. Okay. It has a lot of data inside it. It can have multiple data. Okay. Now I want to process each data one by one. Let's suppose 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. Okay. So I want to process each data. So how will you process? Let's suppose I want to give example. Let me give one case study. Let's suppose in this list, I want to figure out how many data sets are even numbers. How you will do that? I want to check whether which data is even. Like suppose 2. 2 is even number or odd number? 2 is an even number.
Yeah.
3 is even key odd. Odd. So like this, I want to process each data. Okay, from this list, I want to get even list. Okay, I want to produce another list which are the even numbers from this list. Okay, so how you will process the data? Okay, so in order to process the data, what you have to do, you have to visit each and every data, each and every element. Okay, so you will start with 2 and you will check whether it's an even number. It is even number. Okay, then you will collect it. Then you will go to second number, then third, like this. Okay, so here you have to visit each and every data point in the given collection, in the given list, right? Then you will come to know whether it's a even number or odd number, right? So it is called iteration. This concept is called iteration. Okay, so here you are just iterating each element in the given collection. Okay, and this looping iteration generally happens in the case of collection, in the case of group of data or collection of data. Okay, let's suppose if I say you have just one single data, let's b is equal to just 9. It's a single data, right? It's not a list, it's a single data. So in case of single data, there's no point for iteration, right? Do you think any iteration or loop is required to process data? It is just simple single data, right?
Yeah.
So whenever there is a case where you have to deal with group of data like list, tuple, dictionary, group of data, and you want to process each data according to some business logic, some processing, then you have to use the iteration concept or looping concept. Okay, you got the context why in what context you should think about looping or iteration.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, so whenever you have group of data, for example, this case, okay, just let us solve this case. From this given collection, I want to figure out what are the different even numbers from this list. Okay, so how I can achieve it? Okay, so for that you have to use a concept of looping. Okay, iteration. So in Python we have two kinds of loop. One is called for loop and another is called while loop. Okay, so two ways you can achieve looping: for loop or while loop. So let us see how to use what is the syntax, how to write loop. Okay, so for loop is very simple. Let me talk about looping. For loop in Python is very simple in Python. So how to loop it? So first you have to write a for keyword. It's a keyword. Okay, for. Okay, and x in if. like this, 4 space x in a print x. Let me run this. I will explain this code, what is happening here. You can say it is printing all the data point, right? You can say it is printing 2, 3, 4, 5 till 90, right? It is printing all the data point, right? So here it has processed all the data. Now let me explain this syntax, how this syntax is working, okay? So this is the keyword 4, okay? 4 is for the for loop, okay? After 4, we give a space. Let me again write. After write a 4, give a space, okay? And then any variable. So here x is a variable. You can give any name. You can you go on mute, guys? You can give x, you can give v, you can give any number. It's just a variable, okay? And any variable, any name. So for x, an in operator, okay? And then your source of data, okay? So here, what is my source of data? What I want to iterate this list, right? This is my source of data. Yeah. So here I will say a, okay? So for a variable name, in operator, and my source of data, it can be any collection, okay? And then you have to put column, okay? Got this? Okay. After colon, just press enter. Hit enter, your keyboard. You can see here, it will taking some space. You can see it is taking some gap. So the 4 is starting here, but the after within the 4, it is starting from the new line, but it is taking some gap. It is not starting at the 4, at the level of 4, right? You can see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, so this is called indentation. This concept is called indentation in Python. Okay. Or you can say in the simple term, if you gap, in a very simple term. Okay. So this is called block. This is called block. Okay. This is concept is called block of code. Block of code. Okay. So whenever you are writing colon, okay, whenever you write colon, then it becomes the block of code. It means you are writing multiple code. Okay. It is called block of code. So here after colon, this is the rule of Python that you have to maintain the gap or indentation after colon. Okay. So it happened automatically. So if you hit enter, automatically it will go to it will maintain the gap. You can see it is happening automatically. Okay. But sometimes, let's suppose you're writing the code in the notepad. Okay. So in the notepad, this will not happen. If you just press enter, it will start from here, just below the 4 in notepad. Because this is the ID, this is the Google Colab ID. That's why it understands that this is a Python code. It's a brilliant. That's why it is doing automatically. Okay. But generally all the ID, all the application do automatically. But in case if it is not happening, then you should know that I have to maintain a gap. This is clear? Yes. This gap part is clear? Okay. After this gap, then you have to write the new statement. For example, here I'm writing print. Okay. So I want to print the X. Okay. See, let me explain the X. What is X here? X. Okay. So here, what you're doing, you are iterating. You are visiting each data. Okay. Here what you're doing here with the for loop. The purpose of for loop is what? To visit each data set, each data point in the collection or in the list. So that's the purpose of for loop. Okay. So here you are visiting each data. You are starting from 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 90. Okay. So it will go in the continuous one by one. It will start from the first data, first element, and it will go continue second, third, fourth, till the end. Okay. So here X, so X start. So now if you're starting the loop, you are beginning your loop. So X is a variable. Okay. So X will hold here 2 now. In the beginning, it will hold 2. Got it? Because I'm starting from this here. I'm starting from the beginning. So that's why X become 2 initially. So it's a variable. Okay, X is just a variable. It's just a holding the data. You know what is variable, right? It holds the data. So initially, if you start the loop, the value of X will be 2 initially, the first data, the first element in the list. Okay, so that's why the X is 2 now. That's why it is printing 2 first. You got this? It is printing 2 first. So once the processing is done, once the first data has been processed, then it will go to second data. So now X become 3. Okay, so because X become 3, now it is printing X, so it's printing 3. So on. So after this, X become 4. So you can see here, X is a variable. X keep on changing every time. Okay, this X data keep on changing, and it will hold each data one by one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like this. Okay, and it will go till 90, till end. So that's why it's printing 90. Any doubt here to understand this code, this piece of code?
So what is this in operator, sir?
In is an
means it is
operator.
assigning
Okay.
the data to this.
No, in is a membership operator. Okay, so it is saying that for X and A, it is whatever A having. Okay, it's a syntax. Okay, it's just a syntax. In is an in operator, is a membership operator. Okay, so it is just collecting all the data from A inside X one by one. Okay, so this is the syntax you have to, I would say, memorize for then a variable name, and in, and the source of data, and the column. Okay, and this X can be any name. It's just a variable. I can give Y. Okay, then again you have to change here Y, or I can give here any name. Okay, I can give Z. This is just a variable name. You can give any name like Z. The result will be same. 2, 3, 4, 90.
Any integer, sir?
Sorry?
Any integer instead of XY, can you put some numbers?
No, you cannot put number like this, right? No. A variable identifier, a number cannot be identifier, okay, right? You cannot start with number. Remember the rule of identifier? So you have to follow that. Sir. You can use underscore as well. That is problem, not a problem. Underscore X is not a problem. So you have to follow those rule of identifiers. It is just a variable. So you have to follow all the rules of identifiers. Okay. So it is just a variable name. That's all. Any problem in this syntax? Any doubt in this syntax? Because this is the very basic one. Any doubt here?
Sir, for any variable, we should give space after for.
Yeah, for a space, variable, then again a space, in, then again a space, A. A is a source of data.
And even that variable should be in a small case only.
Generally, in a small case, you can give in uppercase as well, not a problem. But generally, we give in a small case. It's not a problem. Syntax by it's not a problem. Okay, that's not a problem.
In is a membership operator, right, sir?
Yeah, it's a membership operator, yes.
That means it's saying that the values of A is located in Z.
No, in reverse. Z, the value of Z inside A.
Okay.
Opposite way.
So Z is taking some values from A, sir?
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying here. The Z is taking the value from A. Okay, so Z, let me put X. Let's suppose this is X. That's what I explained here right now. Okay, so the X will take the data from A. Okay. So initially, when the loop will start, the X will become 2. It will start from the first data initially. Okay. So when the loop will start, when the loop will begin, the X will become 2 because the first data is 2 here. Okay. Once 2 is done, okay, then it will go to 3. Then now X become 3. If printing of 3 is done, then X become 4. X become 4. If printing is done, then X become 5. So on. And it will go till end, till 90. Okay. After 90, because there's no data to process, then automatically this loop will get over. This loop is finished. I can say loop get terminated. Okay. These are technical term. You can say termination, terminated. So loop gets terminated by its own once all the data gets processed. Okay. So this loop gets over. This is finished.
So
Any-
result is, sir, what is, sir? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and also, or
Yeah.
all show the answer, sir?
Yes, you can see here.
It's
It
not
is,
visible here, sir.
you can see the output here below.
Okay, okay,
2, 3, 4,
okay, sir.
5,
Now,
6.
now good.
Okay.
We got
So
results.
because after 90, there's no data to process. That's why it is
And that's
printing
90.
till 90. After that loop is over. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the basic syntax of for loop. And this can be anything. It can be, it's a list now. Let's suppose it's a tuple. So the logic will remain same. The syntax for loop will remain same. No change. The result will give same. Okay. The for list and tuple. Now let's think. Okay. Now let's think about the dictionary. Okay. Let me think about the string first. Okay. Let's suppose I have a string, Python. This is string. Okay. Now here I'm iterating each string. Okay. So what will X will contain? Anybody know what the X will hold? So where X will start?
Python only.
X will start with P. Each
P.
character. Okay.
Okay.
If you run this, it will say PYTHON like this.
So, but here there is no comma, is there? So it is the one sentence, sir.
It's a one sentence, but
Okay.
internally, this is actually internally what happened. This list is a kind of, and this string is a kind of, you
List.
can say character, list of characters. You can like this.
Okay, okay, okay.
It's internally, it's a list of characters, sequence of characters like this. PYTHON.
Okay.
It's a list of characters internal. That's why it is printing character by character. Okay. So if you're taking any string and you're using for loop, it will print each characters one by one. Okay. Let's suppose Python is easy. This is I'm writing a word, a sentence. Okay. So X will what the X will hold PYTHON, and after N there is space. You can see there's space. So it will print the space as well. You can see it is printing a space as well.
Okay.
Okay. So here it is just putting all the character inside list. You can see it's a space here, space here, space here. Got it? So this is the list. Okay. Let's suppose I'm use dictionary. Okay. So in dictionary, we have a key and value. Let's suppose 1,2. This is my key and value, and name Rajesh something Ajay. This becomes my easy dictionary, right? Simple dictionary. Now, if I'm iterating the dictionary, then what can be the X here? What do you think? So in case of dictionary, if you're iterating a dictionary, okay, so the X will hold always key. Okay, X, so here X become 1 first because the first key is 1. Okay, so it will print 1, and next key is name. So after 1, it will print name. Okay, so in case of dictionary, if you are iterating a dictionary using this for loop, so by default, X is always a key, not a value. You can run this, it is always a key. You can see name 1, X is 1, then X is name. Got it? Any confusion?
No, sir.
Okay. Now I have to solve one problem.
Sir,
yeah.
If I got the value 2, Rajesh, it can be.
Yeah, we can get the value. Yeah, there is a way to get the value. I will talk about that later. But by default, it will only get the key. But you can get the value as well. There's a way.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, let's suppose this is my list 2, 5, 7, 30, 100. Okay, so from this list, I want to print only even numbers. Okay, it means I want to print 2, I want to print 30, I want to print 8, only even numbers. So how I can do that? How I can solve this problem? So again, you have to use loop here, right? Because I want to process each data in the list. So looping is required, right? This is clear why looping is required here. guys? Okay. So let's suppose I'm using a loop. Okay. Now this. And now when I'm iterating, so X, what the X will hold? It will hold all data, right? First it will 2, then 5, then 7, then 9, 31, 8, right? So now here inside the for loop, you're iterating the collection, you're getting the each data. X is holding each data like 2, 5, 7, right? So from this data, my interest is only in the even number. Okay, I want to print only even number. Okay, so for that, okay, we have to learn this. If there's an if statement, we will learn in the same different class, not in this class. So we have to use if statement. Okay, here I had to check X. See here, I'm doing a processing. Okay, on the X, on the data, I'm doing one processing. What? I need to check whether X is an even number or not, right? That's my processing, right? Because my interest is what? I want to grab only even numbers, right? That is my interest. So that's why I'm doing a processing. So here I'm writing a statement if X, and now how I can check whether number is an even number in Python? What should I do?
Division.
Yeah, division by what? Division
Use
modulo operator.
Okay.
X divide modulo operator 2. Okay, and if it is what?
0.
0. Okay, so I'm dividing 2 X by 2. I'm getting the modulus, getting the remainder. I'm doing the comparison. If the remainder is 0, then it's a then I will say it's an even number, right? Then X is an even number, right? Then X even number.
Yes.
Okay. Don't worry about the if block. I will talk about that. Here I'm just giving some context. Okay, how I'm doing the processing on the data. I'm iterating each data. I got that data, and on each data I'm doing the processing. For example, if like this. Okay, you can see here after if, again I'm putting colon. You notice that in if block again I'm putting colon, and after colon again it is taking a gap. The print is taking another gap. Okay, so the sprint is not starting at the if level. So you can see here, it is going inside the if block. Okay, if you run this, so 2 is even number, 30 even number, 8 even numbers, like this. Okay, this is clear. Don't worry about the if block. I will talk about that. So here I'm just giving the context how to do iteration, and this part is clear for everyone. For X in A, this syntax is clear. Guys, this syntax is clear for X in A.
Yes.
Okay. So same here, I've given example. Let us see some case study, okay? Okay. You know that list and tuple are index data structure, right? And every list and tuple has index, right? I hope you able to recall this concept. Index, right? Index concept, you know that? List and tuple have the index, okay? So here, if you're trying, here I have a list, okay? LST, it's a variable name, and I have some content, okay? And here I'm using a for block, for X in LST print X. What it will do, it will print all the data like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? This already I have seen. This syntax is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now here, what is happening in this case, if I run this program, there is what is happening here? Let me create another cell. It's a simple for loop, okay? It's a very simple for loop. If I run this, it will print all the data, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Okay. Now here, I want to pull the index as well. Okay. So along with that data, real data, I want to get the index. So what is the index of 2? 0. What is the index of 3?
0.
1. Index of 4, 2, like this. Okay. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So along with that data, I want to pull the index. So I want both. If you use this approach, no, if you use this approach for X and LST, it will get only the data, not the index. Got it? You can see here, it is getting only data 2, 3, 4, 5, not index. So while iteration, I want to pull both the index and the data from the list or tuple. Okay. So this is the case study. Got it? So loop a list using index and element both. So how to achieve it? Okay. So for that, you have to remember this, how to achieve it. So this is the syntax. Let me explain that. Okay. Now tell me, for this list, okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What are the indexes? 0, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is clear for everyone? So for this list,
Yes,
these are the indexes possible, right? So now think about, if I want to get this range, if I want to get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, then how I can get this range? How I can get this data in Python? I want to generate 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So how you can achieve it? Using range function, right? I want to generate 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So how you can generate this number? Think about it. Range, right? Forget that range function.
Range function, that is starting from if you are taking some 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
If I say range 0, if I say range
Yes,
0, okay,
yes,
and I want to go till 5, and my step is 1.
5 plus 1 and
So
1. Okay.
what do you think? What it will produce?
Okay.
What will be the output of this syntax? Range 0 to 5?
Starting from 0, and that 5 means the 5 minus 1
4.
or 5 plus 1, sir.
So it will produce 0, 1,
Yes.
2, 3, 4, right?
Yes.
Clear? Okay.
Yes.
So you got one link, right? Now you're able to connect the dot. If you have a list, okay, with some data, and if you want to get the indexes, then you have to range function. Okay, and range will start from 0, okay, and 5. You can see here what is the length of this list. How many data are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Only 5 data. So whatever the length are there, that you have to take the stopping point. Got it? Are you able to connect the dot? So let's suppose I have a list. I want to get all the indexes. Then what you have to do, you have to take a range function. A range should start from 0 because index start always from 0, right? That's why I'm starting from 0. Why I'm starting from 0? Because index always begins at 0, right? So that's why I'm taking 0 here, okay? Until what I have to go, you just count the element. How many data are there in the list? So in this list, how many data are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? There are 5 data. So that's why I took 5 here, the number of data. Okay, so it will go till what? 0 to 4. If I take in 5, then it will go from 0 to 4. And a step is 1, it will go continuously because in the index, it's a continuous number, right? There's no gap. In case of index, it's a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you want to pull the indexes, then this is the best idea. Use a range starting from 0, length of the list, and take the one step. It will produce all the indexes. This is clear. This part is clear for everyone.
Okay.
Why I'm taking range to get all the indexes. Clear? Everyone? Oh, it's a confusion?
No confusion. So we are just confused with the slicing and range.
Okay, so you have not done practice. That's why you're confused.
Yes. From the last 1 week I cannot do anything.
Yeah, that's what.
But both are I recognize that.
Okay.
Now I got clarity from range and slice.
Yeah, slicing is different, range is different.
Okay.
Okay, so here I have to range function to get the index. Okay, so see here, now this is my syntax now. Okay, for this list. Okay, what I'm doing here, I'm taking a loop for X in, okay, but here my source of data is a range, not the list. Okay, because I need to operate on the index. That's why I'm creating a range. Okay, and range is starting from 0. Okay, and till what? And till what I have to go? Till the length, right? To the length of LST list. Okay, so how to get the length of list using length function? I hope you know that, right? I don't know. So length is a function in Python. It is called len. Okay, len. So it will give you the length of any collection. You can pass any tuple, you can pass any dictionary, you can pass any list. It will give you the length. Okay, for example, this length, this list, what is the length? 5, right? So if you say length of lst2, it will give you I is equal to 5. The length will become 5. Okay, so this way you will get the length of the collection. Okay, so now I got the length. So this is my range now, range from 0. Okay, until what? Till the length of a list, till I is my length. Okay, so this range will produce a number from 0, 1 to in this case I is 5, right? In this case, so it will produce the, so range will produce what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You getting this? So this range is producing what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So now this X, now think about X. So this X is holding what? So X will start from what? Tell me. In this concept, I'm using for X in range 0 to I. The X will start from where? What is the value of X here?
2.
For I,
Sorry?
for I, it will start from 1 only.
2, no, sir. X starts from 2.
X start from 2. Are you sure?
Yes.
So okay, think about, just focus on this range part. Okay, so this range is producing what? What is the output of this range? What it is producing?
0 to I.
0, right? It's producing 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So X becomes 0, right? It will be 0 because the range, this is my source of data. Now here the source of data is not list, right? Here my source of data is range. For here I'm using for X in range. So this is my source of data now here. So this source is producing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So X will hold what? 0.
0.
Then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4.
4.
Right? So this is basically index. You got the index, right?
Yes. Yes.
So X is basically index here. You're getting this? So now inside this loop for X in range, I've got the index. Okay. So this is printing index now. You can say print index X. So X is my index. Okay. Now, if you got the index and from the index, you want to pull the data. So if I ask this question, how to get the data from the index inside the list? So what you have to do, you have to use the concept of indexing. If you have the index, then you want to pull the data, then you have to use concept of indexing, right? So that's what I'm doing here. LST, square bracket, and index. So this will pull me data, right? So this syntax will pull the data, real data. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
You understand this syntax? Try to understand the syntax. Okay. So X is the index and LST2 X is the data. If you run this, it will print both. See, index is 0 and element is 2. Okay. So at 0 index, what is the data? 2. At index 1, what is the data? 3. Like this. Are you getting this? Try to digest this code. This is very important. Any confusion? Guys? Do one thing, just try this. Open the notepad. Okay, I'm just pasting this list into your chat box and just try this. Just try it by your own. Okay, so for this list, I'm stopping my sharing. So for this list, I want to pull both the data and the index. Can you try this? Okay, guys, you're trying this? So for this in list, I want to pull both index and data. How I can do this? Can someone share the screen? I can help you. Okay, so who will share the screen? Just share the screen. I will help you. Guys, can you share the screen? Sunil, can you please share the screen?
Oh, yes, yes. 1 second. I am in that process.
So you have to do practice. Otherwise, I know it will be difficult to digest.
Okay, sir. Now,
It is you have not opened. Guys, make sure whenever you join the class, be ready. Just keep your file opened.
now, okay, sir.
Yeah, it is open. Just create a new file, not here. Just don't touch this. Go to file and create a new notepad. No, not there. Just click Python practice. Just click that. Don't do this. Don't create. Just do cancel. Just
Okay.
click Python practice. There's a Python practice file. Just double click that.
Yeah. From last 1 week, I am some busy. I go to Tirupati and come back, and I go for the practical examination. So it is very difficult me to practice. From
Okay.
tomorrow onwards,
No problem.
I am free.
Just create a code here. Okay. No
Okay.
problem. Just create a list there. Yeah. Create a list. LST is equal to something, to anything. To list square bracket. Yeah. Square bracket. Yeah. Add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something. Just hold. Okay. That's okay. I want to list. I want to print first print the data first. Okay. Just forget the index first. Just try to print the each data. Use for loop. Yes. 4x in LST1 colon is missing, colon is required. Hit enter. No, colon. This is a semicolon.
Okay.
Hit enter. Yeah. And they say print x. Okay, run this. So this way it will print all the data set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like this. Okay, you got all the data. Now, along with the data, I want to print the index.
Okay.
So think about how do I get the index. So for the index, what you have to do? You have to use range
First we
function,
have
right?
to. Yes.
So instead of LST1, the source of data should be your range, not the LST1. Okay, 0 to 8. Okay. Yeah, just copy this and type there for X in LST1. Yeah, just remove the LST1. No, not there. In the 4 block. For X in the 4 block, for X in LST1. Yeah, just remove LST1 and put the range here. So this becomes your source of data, range from 0 to 8. Range, spelling mistake. Range from 0 to 8, comma 8, comma 1. Yes. So now this X is what? X is a data, is an index.
Yes. Yeah, this X is indicate the index value.
Index. Okay, so now how to get the data? So you got the index. Now I want to get the data as well.
Yes.
Just run this. Just see what happens. Just run this. See what you get. You're getting 0, 1, 2, right? It's an index.
Yes,
It is not the real data. You're getting the index. So
Yes.
from this index, how I will get the real data? Using indexing, right? You know how to use indexing, how to pull the data from. No, just by copying this. Just write a new statement. Just below print X, write a new print. Yeah. So get the data here. So how we will get the data from the you have the index, right? You know my index. What is my index?
Okay.
So from this index, I want to get the data.
LST1. So
Yeah,
we can get the both
yeah. LST1 square bracket X.
square bracket X.
Yes.
Okay.
Square bracket, not parenthesis. Remove this pop-up. This pop-up is coming. Yeah.
Okay.
Square bracket. LST square bracket X. So this it will pull the data from the index, right? Just run this now. You will get the data.
0, 1.
Your formatting is wrong. Do one thing. In the first list, in the first print as well, in the first print X, just put a comma. Print X after X inside the parenthesis.
Here, sir.
No, in first, yeah, after X, yeah, then put LST1 square bracket X. So let's print both this.
Here is itself square bracket, sir.
Yes, yeah. LST1 square bracket X. The below print, right? Just copy paste that.
Now, okay, sir.
No, remove the square bracket in the beginning. Why putting 2 square bracket?
LST. Okay.
Remove that square. That is not required.
Now, okay,
Guys, you are not doing practice. Remove the second print. Delete the second print. And remove the comma there. There's unnecessary comma. last comma. Now run this. So it will print both index and data in the same line. So 0 at 0 it is 1. You're getting the first one is the index and second is the data. 0 at 1, 1, 2. Do one thing, just change some data. It's very confusing. Go inside the list.
Okay.
And just put some different data. Let's suppose something different, 10. Just type 10, 20, 30 like this. Start with 10, 10, 20, 30 like this.
It is not working, sir.
No, it's working, but it's no, don't do ABCD.
Okay.
Put 10, 20, 30.
Okay.
Okay, now run this. That's all. That's okay. No, run this program. Okay, change the length. What is the length? 5.
Okay.
Scroll up, go up.
Um,
No, it is off run. Go scroll up. So what is length? 0, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Let's take 4 length. 1, 2, 3, 4. Index out of range. Go top. Do one thing. LST1 just give a different name. It's caching actually. LST1 just do LST2. Just rename it. Do LST2. And here as well. LST. It's caching. Okay. Run again. Did you run again? No, that's a comment. That's not required. 4, 0, 1, 2, 3.
Yes, yes. Yeah, in the previous comment, it showed that it is
Okay.
some range is out of range in our number. So I changed this range.
0, 1, 2. Okay. Length is 4, right? Okay, take care. Because length is 4, right? That's 4 is
Yes,
okay.
yes, yes.
That's
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Okay. So now you got some idea about it,
Okay, sir.
everyone?
Maybe 1 or 2 examples are needed to practice this.
Okay. So this is what you have to remember, range.
So
That's
that is
all.
logic is simple, but
Yeah. Can you stop your sharing now? Yeah. So range function you have to use for get the index. Okay.
okay.
Okay. Okay. So we saw how to use iterate a list using without range and with range, with index and without index. Okay. If you want to get the data, it's very simple. Just for X in LST, it will give the data. If you want to get the index, then you have to do this range. Okay. And X will be index, and then you have to use indexing to pull the data. Okay. Let's suppose I want to iterate a dictionary. Okay. So there are multiple ways to iterate a dictionary. For example, I have a dictionary here. Okay. It has some name and some value. So if you use for loop in dictionary, for I have already seen that for X in dict, okay. So X will be always a key. Right?
Yes. Yes.
Just now I saw this example. So by default, it is always a key. If you print this, it is always a key. So X is name, ID, and 34. Name 1. So what is the key here? Name, ID, and 1. Right. So that's why it is printing all the keys here. Guys, can you mute yourself? Okay, so this way we can iterate our dictionary. Simple. Okay, so by default, if you do a looping, you will get the key only. Okay, if you want to get the values, then there is some way. Let me talk about. There's another way. In the dictionary, there are 2 functions. Okay, there are 3 functions: keys functions, values function, and the item. Okay. So right now, just understand there are 2 functions in dictionary: keys function and the values function. Okay. If you use only keys like this, you will again get the same key. Okay. So both actually this syntax and this syntax both are same. Okay. Both are same. If you don't use any something, only dictionary name, then by default you will get a key. Or other, you can specify this a function here, dict.keys. Okay, I will talk about that in detail. So this is a function, it will give a key only. So both will produce only key. You can see both is producing only key. Okay, but let's suppose you want to get the values, then change its values. Okay, now X will hold what values? So Ajay and 34 and 3. Now it will take all the values. You can see now X is Ajay, 34 and 1, 3. If I remove this, only values, and if I saying dictate values, then it will say all the values. Ajay, 34 and 3, like this. Any doubt here? Okay, so dictionary, how to iterate is using keys, either simple dictionary name, just a variable name. By default, it will print all the keys. Or if you want to use keys function, you can use that. It will again print the keys. If you want all the values, then you have to use values function. Then it will print all the values. Got it? This is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, let's suppose here you can see that here I was able to get only keys and only values, right? Now I want to get both. I want to get both keys and value at the same time. Okay. Here it is printing only values. I want to get both keys and values. So how should I do that? So it's very simple. By default, if I use dict, so what is the X here by default? Key and value. What is the X here? Here X is what? In this case, X is what? X is only key, right?
Sir.
So name, ID, and 1, right? Now let's suppose in the dictionary, you got the key. Okay. And from the key, you want to pull the value. How you can do this? From the key in the dictionary, I want to pull the value. So how to pull the value from the key? Print dict name square bracket X. This will pull the value. Okay. You can see here, I'm getting both. X, let me put here, let's dict square bracket X. Okay. So it will give both the keys and value. You can see name is my key, and what is the value? Ajay. I'm getting Ajay as well. And the name and key is ID. What is the value? 34. I'm getting the 34. Okay. What is the key here? 1. I'm getting the value 33. So this way you can get both keys and values. Any doubt? Okay, this is okay. Are you getting this? Okay. So guys, let me do one thing. So you have to practice this, okay? So you understand what is the key, what is the loop, okay? And how I can apply the loop on list, okay? And there are two ways, without indexing and with indexing, okay? And on the dictionary, how I can get the keys and values and both keys and values, okay? This part is clear for everyone till here. Guys, this is clear? Or it is not clear? Guys? Any confusion? I think I see confusion here, right? It is not clear?
It's clear, sir.
Do one thing, just try this, okay? I will share this notes, okay? Just practice this, okay? And I will give some assignment, okay? In the night after this class, I will give some assignment using loop, indexing, okay? And do some practice. And then next class, I will start the inner loop. It is going to be a bit tough, but before that, just practice this, okay? Otherwise, it will be you will feel very tough. Okay, so just practice this. Okay, guys. So this is all. I will give the assignment. Okay, bye.